Hi, this is Julian Mack from Toledo, Ohio. Since I haven't heard from the Movement for Black Lives yet, I wanted to submit a video submission just basically talking about what has happened since over the past 2 months during this application process and what all I've been involved in because there's a lot going on, and really just to stress how much I need help and how much you all can do to help me. All right, the first thing, obviously it was nationwide. We had the March for Our Lives. Directly after the March for Our Lives though, I went back to my home and I looked across the street, and the first gun that I had saw after the March for Our Lives, just maybe 2 hours later, a police officer pulled a gun on a 16-year-old boy. He did not shoot him, but he ran 2 doors down and he was scared of the police and he almost got shot. This was 2 hours after the March for Our Lives. And it was just, it shocked me, and it was so real, and it looked just like so many of the videos we've seen, and it so easily could have been another situation like that. And it was difficult because, you know, after a demonstration or action, you kind of ride that wave of you feel that euphoria from being around all those people, and get that feeling that you're gonna get something done, and bam, to have the harsh reality of seeing white officer pull a gun, and two officers pull a gun on a 16-year-old boy just shook me. And that's something I didn't get a chance to talk about in my submission, but that's something that's very relevant and shook me to my core in regards to the work that's going on here in Toledo. The next thing we did is we had a state senate forum for two candidates that were running for a state office, Teresa Fetter and Michael Ashford, our local organization, Community Solidarity Response Network, which serves as like our local Black Lives Matter organization. And we wanted to, we asked questions relating to criminal justice reform, in regards to the school to prison pipeline, in regards to mass incarceration, in regards to issues that we see a large disparity with when it comes to black and brown bodies, and structural differences. And the candidate Michael Ashford, who was black, did not show up, and was endorsed by the Democratic Party, did not show up. And not only that, he threatened to sue our organization for having his name on a flyer, which was very difficult for me to deal with because he was the black candidate, and it was difficult to take a stand against that. Like, this is not right. This is not okay. And we took a lot of, some backlash from that locally, because we just weren't going to let the black candidate run over us and refuse to speak to constituents. And when he spoke to constituents, especially in the black community, he would often speak to them in a disrespectful manner. And so, these are the kind of things that I need the EJP to help me with guidance in regards to. Also, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I don't know if you've heard of an activist by the name of Sir Major Page. Well, he came to Toledo, and he's been very divisive, very misogynistic, very homophobic within the movement and within spaces of organizers in different cities. I know oftentimes he's stationed in Atlanta, but he was very divisive among us locally when he came to Toledo for a couple weeks. And that's something that, our group had to deal with, and it was difficult, but we made it through it, and we continued on with the work and overcame all the obstacles in our way. And that's something that I'm very proud of the group of people that I work with. But it's the type of thing that I hope to have more guidance for in the future. We also had primaries come up. Who I helped with the Dennis Kucinich campaign, and Tara Samples. Dennis Kucinich is a pretty well-known progressive. He ran for president in 2004. He was known as being an anti-war candidate. He was one of the youngest mayors in Cleveland history. And he's been ahead of the times on progressive issues. He's a little older now. This candidate, Tara Samples, is a young city councilwoman in Akron, Ohio. And she would have been the first lieutenant governor to be a black woman. And that was definitely a cause that I wanted to help out with. Although he did not win the primary, we were very busy doing that work as well. I was very busy doing that work, trying to campaign and strategizing and organizing people locally for that work. One thing that I did not talk about at all in my submission that I really want you to know about is the Lake Erie Bill of Rights. It's actually the first piece of legislation that I have my name on. It's a local initiative that establishes rights of nature, basically saying that Lake Erie has the right to stay clean, and any outside entity, especially any corporate interest that infringes upon those rights, will be held financially responsible. It's really a groundbreaking, newer way to look at legislation by establishing rights of nature. But when we look at what happened with Flint, we also did Flint Water Drive because the government stopped giving water to Flint. So I did take me as well as some other people took a trip up to Flint and delivered water. But we've also had our own water crisis here in Toledo, Ohio, because of so many corporate farms that are around here and the runoff that goes into Lake Erie. So protecting Lake Erie is an issue that directly affects many black and brown people at a disproportionate rate, but affects our entire community. So we've been really trying to strive to get signatures for the Lake Erie Bill of Rights. That is something that it looks like will be on the ballot this upcoming November, and it is an initiative that I can campaign on, and we can win on this upcoming November. In my submission, I talked about a civilian review board, which is more of a 2-year plan, but I just wanted to make it clear that there are things going on that I'm actively involved in that we can win this election cycle. Also, during this past 2 months, there's the PSP program that's been implemented in 12 different cities across the country. This is through Donald Trump and Jeff Sessions' Department of Justice, where they picked 12 different cities to basically do a crackdown on violent crime. Toledo is one of those cities, and we've tried to fight this at every single juncture. And we held a community forum where we wanted to invite the community and ask them what safety looks like to them, as opposed to having the Department of Justice and Jeff Sessions tell us what safety looks like. And so we're continuing to fight that. It's an ongoing struggle. It's an ongoing battle to try to get our elected officials and our police department to stand against it. But we will continue that fight. But this is the kind of thing that I need mentorship and direction from somebody and for some people that maybe have a little bit more experience than I have in this particular area right now. And then lastly, but certainly not least, today, we had a Toledo police officer that was acquitted of charges, sex crime charges against a 13-year-old girl. And that which underlines how flawed our criminal justice system is locally, especially when it comes to law enforcement. Listen, I know there's a lot of other strong candidates out there, but I am directly involved in many things that are happening locally that I think can have a ripple effect on things that happen throughout our communities. And I wanted to just update you with that, with what's going on. The work continues, whether I get picked or not. But please, please, let me know. Let me know. Because I really want to work with the Electoral Justice Project. I think that there's a lot that I can bring to the table, and a lot that I can learn, and a lot that can affect a lot of different people. Thank you for your time for watching this. Have a great day.